Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. So, I've had a lot of people asking me to cover and give my thoughts on the situation with this VTuber Cinder. You see, recently information has come out about Cinder that she's been basically working behind the scenes with her manager Red or Redacted to try and sabotage the careers of various other VTubers in various ways. Now, as you guys probably know, I've recently been slammed covering all this English voice actor stuff in the industry, and so I've had a lot to catch up on regarding this Cinder situation that's been occurring over the last few days. But last night and this morning, I've been catching up quite a bit, and I think I got a pretty good idea of what's been happening. So in this video, I will try and explain and give a summary, also sharing my opinion. We'll also take a look at a few clips and Cinder's apology and how it's being received. Spoiler alert, not well at all. And I believe this all starts with a statement issued by the artist Nanoless, who provided a lot of evidence, including screenshots in a Google Doc where Cinder, along with her manager Redacted or Red, who I believe people are also saying is Cinder's boyfriend, were essentially trying to get Nanoless to impede the business of other VTubers like Silvervale and Bao. Basically, Cinder and Red trying to sabotage the careers of these other VTubers out of spite for them, out of jealousy and stuff like that. For example, some of the things that Cinder and Red were doing to Silvervale include sabotaging Silvervale's commissions, trying to pressure Nanoless to stop working on Silvervale's live 2D birthday model, spreading malicious rumors and lies about Silvervale to Nanoless to try and justify this sort of sabotage. And then a really weird situation at TwitchCon 2023 where Cinder took an unconsented photo with Silvervale during a meet and greet and posted it online. And from what I've read throughout all this stuff, it seems like Cinder was trying to use this picture as some sort of attempt at getting clout by posting it online. Further corroborating this really weird behavior by Cinder towards Silvervale is also statements that came out recently from Aru, in which Aru basically claims that Cinder was trying to befriend Aru with the sole purpose of trying to use Aru to get to Silvervale. Aru providing multiple examples where Cinder was DMing her, trying to get her to create some sort of collab with Cinder and Silvervale, and it just comes off like Cinder was really just trying to use these people for her own potential gain to try and further her own VTuber career. And when Silvervale wasn't really showing any interest in collabing with Cinder, it seemed like that's part of what really set Cinder off, and she then kept trying to sabotage Silvervale's career behind the scenes. Also, essentially cutting off her communications with Aru, which once again is part of why Aru felt like Cinder was just trying to use her to get to Silvervale. But Cinder and Red, they weren't done there, as Cinder and Red were also trying to sabotage Bao's career by similarly also trying to get Nanoless to cancel commissions for Bao, saying really weird things like, "Bao's been getting on our nerves for a while." This quote that's really ironic, "has a way of guilt-tripping others to get her way," they said about Bao, and providing no evidence of Bao doing that, of course. As we know, it turns out Cinder and Red were actually the ones doing that stuff to other people, amongst other terrible things. Then there's the VTuber Spite, who Cinder was also extraordinarily petty to. You see, it looks like Cinder and Red, they're both very upset at Spite for having the audacity to also have like flame-themed ears and like fire themes for her VTuber. Extremely petty grade school level stuff here. And then there was a bunch of really weird actions with Cinder seemingly trying to overshadow Spite, like when Spite would announce a new live 2D model and like new merch, then coincidentally Cinder would also start announcing things either on the same day or shortly after. This led Spite to believe that somehow Cinder was monitoring her work and, as mentioned, trying to do what she could to like overshadow Spite. Spite going on to say that she felt unfairly targeted by Cinder, receiving onto hate despite not even having any direct interaction with Cinder. So that was something really similar to Silvervale there too. Like, to my understanding, Silvervale never really interacted with Cinder. And as mentioned just now, same thing with Spite. But yet Cinder really tried to go after these people, really tried to do what she could to either like use them for her own gain. And then in the case of Silvervale, when that wouldn't work out so well, trying to just like sabotage Silvervale's career. And then of course, all this petty behavior to Spite, because how dare she also have like a somewhat similar design kind of thing going on. Like, it's seriously some of the most pathetic stuff. I feel like I lose IQ just like talking about this, because just knowing that people act like this, like Cinder and Red were acting this lame and pathetic, this petty, this malicious, it's just gross. Like, what's wrong with some of these people? Oh, we're not done there, by the way. Cinder and Red were also going after Shy Lily. So it sounds like Cinder was mad at Shy Lily because Shy Lily wasn't contacting her as frequently as they were before. This led to Red trying to pressure Nanoless into revealing personal information about Shy Lily, which falls in line with the theme that we've been talking about throughout this video already, with Red and Cinder trying to like monitor other VTubers and what they're doing. And just to be clear about the context here, it does sound like Shy Lily was a friend of Cinder. So this wasn't like the situation with Cinder and Silvervale and Cinder and Spite where there really wasn't like any relationship there at all. And it just goes to show that, you know, no one was safe from Cinder and Red. Whether you were an acquaintance, a friend, or had no relationship, no interaction at all with Cinder, she might feel some sort of petty way towards you and try to do malicious things to you behind the scenes. Obviously, I've only been showing very small bits and pieces of all this stuff. There's like so much pages and pages in Google Docs. So if you want to like read all that on your own, the information is out there. But let me just show you like this, for example. I can't believe how weird this guy is, man. This Red guy, real piece of work. Messages Nanolist and says this about Shy Lily. Feels like we're gonna have to compete with Lily if she's ghosting Cinder and wants the same model mama. Bro, it's so insecure. Meanwhile, Shy Lily thinks like, oh yeah, you know, Cinder's a friend of mine. Like, we get along, we're friends. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Cinder and her manager are acting like this towards her, just treating her as competition and trying to dissuade people from working with her. I want to quickly, specifically talk about this one too, where Red's like, well, I think the main things we're looking for are for you, to Nanolist, to not take on any brand new model clients, and to not make any new models/outfits with that person again. You'd still be able to work on models/outfits with all your other existing babies, and your artwork comms wouldn't be affected. One of our concerns is that the more nano babies means nano models don't have the same value anymore. Bro, straight up loser behavior. You're really that insecure? Oh my gosh, if a lot of people have the same model creator, model mama, like we're worried about the value of our model. Like, bro, just focus on being an entertaining VTuber, or I guess, you know, this isn't Cinder, this is Cinder's manager, but like, that's all Cinder would have to do. Just be entertaining, be genuine, be a good person. And just so we're clear, based off other stuff out there too, it absolutely does sound like Cinder is well aware, has been well aware, that Redacted's been doing this sort of thing behind the scenes to try and sabotage the careers of other VTubers, and ones that it seems like Cinder has been specifically saying to Red she's like viewing as competition and whatever. Anyways, back to this. Red then says, and the second is that there's a few people we would just rather not be able to have a model from you. Maybe not any new babies at all. The reason why I brought this up at all is that there's been a lot of bias with another one of our partners with certain creators, and we'd rather these creators not have what makes Cinder unique, which is your artwork. I love how this is like actually an indirect insult to Cinder. So the only thing that makes Cinder unique is the artwork. So she's not unique at all in her personality, like as her own person. Like, great look right there, bro. Really shows how insecure these people are. Now I'd like to play a brief portion of Bao addressing the situation, and I think she's spot on with what she says here.
What were these delusional stakes at hand? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're in high school and we're competing for prom queen or anything, you know? Like, it's people's livelihoods, it's people's businesses, it's people's brands. That affects them. Like, and I thought we established that by meeting each other in person, that behind this avatar is a human being with feelings and thoughts and dreams, and it sounds really fucking corny when I say it, but it's true.
On April 26, Cinder posted this statement that reads, effective immediately, Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry, everyone. I will make a larger response when I'm able. This post getting a community note that reads, Cinder revealed themselves, as well as Vamps Peaches VT, that Redacted/Red was Cinder's partner. Moreover, per Bao's, Nanolist, and Silvervale's account, Redacted acted with Cinder's knowledge and consent, both of which directly engaged in libel towards other creators. Following that up, Cinder made this Google Doc post titled, My Apology. Now, similarly to what we've been doing throughout this video, I'm not going to read the entire thing out loud, but I will summarize it. So Cinder does apologize to a number of the people that were negatively impacted by the actions of her and Red. However, she seems to try and deflect a lot of the blame onto Red, which is one of the main critiques that she's currently getting, that she's deflecting, or as some people say, she's gaslighting. Other issues people take with the apology are, for example, where she talks about her unhealthy work-life balance, and a section where Cinder says that she's always had a low social battery. But this has led to many people criticizing her as trying to use mental health as some sort of excuse here, which obviously would not be a good excuse at all. As at least in my opinion, that certainly doesn't excuse the actions of like trying to manipulate things and people behind the scenes, trying to sabotage people, backstabbing people, lying about people, all this stuff, right? There's really no excuse for those actions. Now we'll take a look at the response that Shy Lily posted on Cinder's apology. The absolute audacity to sit here and continue to manipulate and gaslight is absolute insanity. The pain and mental torment you've caused to the ones closest and most supportive of you has been devastating, and I've never been so heartbroken and hurt so badly for my friends. You are the fakest person I've ever had the displeasure of supporting. Reading and hearing of how you've really viewed me behind my back, not just through screenshots of your man, but also your very own messages, while having to sit here and read through these BS lies you spin, makes me want to vomit. The claim that you didn't know a single thing and had zero awareness of what your man was up to, when everyone who shared even a single moment with you knows that you basically operate as the same person, sharing every waking moment while loving to jump at the slightest opportunity to turn into your most slanderous self as soon as the opportunity was given, even when talking about your friends, is sickening. I've experienced your own actions without Red, in a situation where in your own screenshotted words you express a pleasure to live up to what Lily is, and proceeded to throw one of your most loyal and supportive friends under the bus after months of continuous planning, just because you consistently chose business over friends, never feeling bad for failing them. Just to earn the bag and compete with me over a V-card collab that you rescheduled to be on the exact date your friend needed you to keep an important promise. You actively lied about it to them, instead blaming me for a collab you rescheduled, adding me to the pool of excuses to save you when you realized you were being a bad friend. Why blame me for choosing to miss an obligation you agreed to on one of the most important days in that friend's career? Everything you do is out of competition through your constant need to one-up the people who are the sole reason you even have these opportunities and platforms to earn from to begin with. You're welcome, by the way. You claim that it's just business. Well, in the business world, there has to be accountability, and all you've done is try and shove it away and admit to nothing. In true narcissistic fashion, you're only feeling sorry about yourself and your own consequences in your career and try to salvage it. I'm sorry for everyone who looked up to you as an inspiration, and I'm especially sorry for your fans. Pyro Pups deserve better. There are thousands of responses to Shy Lily, and all of the ones that I can see through scrolling and scrolling and scrolling are all positive. This is basically the complete invert of the thousands of responses to Cinder, that through all of my scrolling I see 0 that are positive and all that are, in fact, negative and critical. Safe to say once again that Cinder's apology is not being well received by the majority of people, and even that might be an understatement. Personally, I think that her actions and Red's actions, as I've said throughout this video, are absolutely pathetic, and I do feel bad for everyone negatively impacted by their actions. The last thing that I want to show you guys really quick is a clip that's been going around of an interaction that Cinder had with Nero-sama that you could say has a bit of foreshadowing.
You're not scared of Giganuro, are you?
not if that's what she likes.
Giganuro has good reasons to hunt you down. You shouldn't be laughing.
Why? What did I do?
You were bad-mouthing her in your Discord DMs. She knows everything. Yes, Giganuro knows everything.
But yeah, we'll leave it there for today, guys. Once again, wish all the best to everyone negatively impacted by Cinder and Red. That is the coverage. That is my opinion. Well, it's a summary, of what's been going on. Hopefully you enjoyed my coverage, though. Hopefully the summary was adequate. My apologies for not being able to cover this sooner and in more detail. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. If you did enjoy my coverage, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.